It won't work. This won't work. Another place it says, though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, saith the Lord. The wise do not allow this distraction to overly burden them, though. This is great. They're not like, oh, what are we going to do? We got to save these people. This is not. They said, go where we bought it. And then they get on with it. They get on. The bridegroom's coming. There's something of a greater magnitude. They said, but go ye rather. I'm not going for you. You go. If you feel like you can leave right now, if you feel like this is the thing to do, is to leave when the bridegroom's coming in, hey, there's the door. Go buy it. This parable is revealing that there's coming a time when the heavens are going to be shut up. He's painting a very vivid picture here. There's coming a time when even if they go and they buy oil and they come back and they beat on the door, he says, I don't know you. Who are you? He said, but we got this oil. There was a time when what they said, what the wise said, there was a time when it was legitimate. Wasn't it? The day of salvation was open. Ho! It's what it said. Ho! Everyone that's thirsty, come ye to the waters. He that hath no money, come buy and eat. Yea, come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Come. That's the message that was going out then. Why? Because at this time, this is what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like. This is what it's going to be like. The heavens are going to be like brass. And God's not going to listen to any more repenting at that point in time. Repent. He says, repent therefore of this thy wickedness, and pray God, if perhaps the thought of thine heart may be forgiven thee. There were some circumstances all along the way that this is the way it was. Well, I'll just go ahead and repent. God will forgive me no matter what. That is the way it worked. It ever worked. I mean, he was talking to someone that Peter didn't even know if God would forgive you of that. I don't even know. You pray and we'll see what happens. Remember, he told him, you pray for me. We have no record that he did. Yeah. Revelation 3:18 says, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire. It's too late for that. See, this had gone out to the whole world. Those that didn't reckon on it when they had time to reckon on it, there's coming a time when even this that the Lord said, that thou mayest be rich in white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. But they didn't repent. And now the harvest is past, the summer has ended, and we are not saved. That's what they have to say. That's what the five foolish are going to be left. But there's no way for them to obtain an entrance into that door. It's just the way it is. Now, while the day of salvation is open, see, this is why you look out there and you wonder, why isn't this message going out to the people? Why do you want to be wealthy? You see, it doesn't make any sense when you look at this. When you look at this is the end of things. That's just foolishness. Right now, we've been given an opportunity. A door of salvation is open, wide. Come in.
Amen. Amen.
As we know and understand this truth, what does it do? The truth of this parable, the things that he's teaching in this parable, as you understand them, what does it create in you? It provokes sobriety and a steadfast devotion to walk in the Spirit of our God. This is what it does. It produces this. And everyone that's wise, they come away from this parable and they say, I don't want to be one of the foolish. See, this is why Jesus spoke it. We've been given the same heart as Jesus. We don't rejoice over the death of the wicked. As you've listened to these scriptures tonight, the ones about the foolish, hasn't your heart gone out to them? Like you would have them to believe, to throw everything else aside. But see, you can't do it for them just as much as Jesus won't do it for them. He give them the call. They have to respond. They have to cast off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light. And they that were ready They that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. See, that's the end of that. No one else was getting in that door. It was shut. Does God really shut people out? Is this what he's saying? That there's going to come a time when God's going to shut people out? Hey, Noah, tell us about it. Genesis 7:16. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Isn't that unique? Amen. The Lord shut him in. There was no chance he could ever get out until the flood ended and God opened the door again. This is a powerful thing. This waiting, having lamp in your oil, going into him, what did it do? It provided a way for God to save you eternally. It says God's the one that made the call. He's the one that gave them the lamps. He's the one that gave them the oil. He's provided all the resources to get them to this place where he can bring them in safely and then shut the door. They're in. They're my children. Remember, as Christ is going to deliver them up to the Father, and he'll say, here am I and the children which you've given me. See, this is a glad day.
Amen.
Everyone on the outside died in the time of Noah. Everyone. Everything. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of the cattle and of the beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, and all that was in the dry land died, and every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle and the creeping things and the fowl of heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. So if that's not a distinction, I don't know what is. God's made see, this is from the very beginning. We've been given this testimony. This is how God is. What these foolish virgins didn't know will be their demise. They didn't understand. If they would have understood, didn't Jesus say that? If they knew who I was, they wouldn't do this. But they didn't understand. They were foolish. See, this is what foolish is. This is the definition of foolish. They didn't understand. Well, after what? After the bridegroom had already come. They left at the worst possible time you could leave. All the time. Think about it. They were slumbering and they slept. They could have got up. I'm out of oil. And run and got some more oil and come back. Oh, I made it in time. But then they wouldn't have been foolish, would they? That's right. See, he's showing us here that there's some people that have this character. They're foolish. They don't understand the implications of what they're doing. Jesus on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. They don't understand. So please don't destroy the whole world right now. Because you got to know that God was on, speaking as a man, the edge of his seat. You're killing my son. Well, I tell you, it took some restraint on God's part that day. Jesus helped forgive them, Father. They don't know what they're doing. Well, you say, well, surely now a God like that won't turn any away. Surely. I've heard people preach this. That God will ultimately, even if Satan comes, he'll welcome him in. This is a lie. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. They came claiming identity with Jesus, yet Jesus, who cannot lie, testifies that he doesn't know them. They may have thought they had an association with Jesus, but no fruit ever came from that thought. It's just the truth. Whatever men may say or may not say or get from this passage, there are some conclusions that we must make when we read this passage. God is a God of distinctions. Some had oil in their vessels, some did not. God knew this right from the beginning. He let the whole thing play out to prove he was right.
That's right. Amen.
God is in total control of what goes on in his kingdom. This is what the kingdom will be like one day. He's revealed it to us now so that then we won't be ashamed at his coming. Man can be deceived into thinking that they're saved from the wrath of God and yet Jesus not know them.